All right, class, I'm going to go over the assignment, the review assignment with you in Delta Math Transformations Review. Please feel free to pause the video or rewind. All right, let's do this very first one in that first section. These are the types of problems that you're going to have in each of the sections. If you have more questions, then please text me and remind to let me know that you need help with some other problems as well. Okay? All right, this first question says, what is the image? If you remember when we did transformations, before the move is the pre-image, after the move is the image. So they want to know this would mean that this is my pre-image. This was before the move. They want to know what it would be after the move. If you do a translation, which is to slide, and you're sliding it to the right 5 times and down 3 units. So if left to right is talking about the X, up and down is talking about the Y. So if it says to the right, that means you're going to 5 times, that means you're going to add 5. Since it's saying down 3, that means you're going to subtract 3 from Y. So that's what I'm going to do in order to figure out what my new point is going to be, what my image is going to be. So I'm going to say -6, and I'm going to add 5 to it. Then I'm going to say 3, and I'm going to subtract 3 from it. So my new ordered pair then is going to be, my image is going to be a -1, because -6 plus 5 is -1, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So this is going to be my image. This is the point that I type in for my answer. Okay. All right, the second one. This is in that same first section. I'm just going to do another one just to make sure you completely understand what I'm doing. And it's asking for the same thing again. What is the image going to be? That's after the move. This is the pre-image. They want to know after you translate it, which means after you slide, what is going to be the new ordered pair, okay? And just to recap, remember there are 4 different transformations, okay? There are 4 of them, okay? We got translation, which is to slide. We talked about that in our first unit. That was the first thing we did this year, this school year. Rotation is to turn. Reflection is to flip an object. Either you're going to flip it over the x-axis or the y-axis. And then dilation is to get bigger or smaller. Spelled that wrong. Okay. That's just to give you a quick overview of what we did in the past. Okay, so you'll know what I'm doing now. Okay, so it says to slide. Translation is to slide. And you're doing 2 units to the left. Remember, left, right is talking about the x. Since you're going to the left 2 times, you're going to subtract 2 from the x coordinate. And up and down is talking about the y. Since it says up 4, you're going to add 4 to the y coordinate. Okay? The first number is your x coordinate. The second number is your y coordinate. So you're going to do the same thing we did before. -2, you're going to subtract 2, because it's the x coordinate. +6, you're going to add 4 since it's the y coordinate. So here you have -2 minus 2. This gives me plus a negative. So this is going to be a -4. And 6 plus 4 is 10. So my image or my new location is going to be, you're going to type in -4, 10 as your answer. Okay. Translate. This is saying, it's giving you this picture and it's saying translate. Again, to translate means to slide. Okay? And you're going to slide this object 1 unit to the left and 4 units down. So you're going to take all of these ordered pairs and move all of these points 1 unit to the left and 4 units down. So I'm going to start with this one, 1 unit to the left, and then go down 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's so hard because these grid lines you can't see that well. Your grid lines you can see probably a lot better than mine. You'll often see these little things pop up on my screen because our school is using Microsoft Teams for meetings. So just ignore that stuff. It's a teacher thing. Yeah, but then at the end of the day, when I forget to enable it again, it's not good. I need to know the buses and stuff. And I'll forget by the end of the day to put it back. Okay, so here I'm going to go over to the left 1 time. Sorry, y'all. And then go down 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to do that for each of these points. Go to the left. I didn't. Oh, this line. I got lazy. Go to the left 1 time and down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Left 1 time, then down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Left 1 time and down 1, 2, 3, 4. Left and down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. And that's exactly what you're going to do. For examples that look like this, you're going to place those dots in those locations. Okay. Or ordered pairs. All right. You're going to do the same for problems that look like this. You're going to go 5 units to the left and 1 unit down. You're going to take each of these ordered pairs and go 5 units to the left, 1 unit down. Take this ordered pair, 5 units to the left, and 1 unit down. When you do this on the computer, you are going to only click where you want this point to land. So you can hover over it, just don't click on it, but count with your cursor, go over 5 units to the left, 1 unit down, and then click it, your point right there. Hover over this, don't click on it, but go 5 units to the left and 1 unit down, then click where you want your point to go. Do all of that for these points. That's what they want you to do for problems that look like this. Okay. All right. Now we're looking in another category. This is saying the point D, so you'll see D in this coordinate plane, is plotted on the coordinate grid below. Plot D prime. Remember, D without the tick mark is going to be the pre-image. D with the tick mark is going to be the image. That's where the object has moved to. That's how you know the difference between the pre-image and the image. The pre-image does not have a tick mark. The image has a tick mark, okay? It says reflect, which means we talked about this before, to flip. And we're either going to flip it over the x-axis or the y-axis. So here it's saying you're going to flip it over the x-axis. So the x-axis is this horizontal number line, the number line that goes from left to right. So you're going to flip it over the x-axis. So you count How many spaces is D above the x-axis? And it's 5 above the x-axis. So when we flip it, it's going to be 5 below the x-axis. So D, when I flip it, 5 below is down here. I count 5 spaces below the x-axis, and this is where my new location for D is going to be. D prime, D with the tick mark. And that's what you do for problems that look like this. Okay? All right. This is another problem. Same as before. Remember, point G without the tick mark is the pre-image. This is before the move. G with the tick mark is going to be the image. This is after the move. It's saying reflect G over the x-axis. That means to flip G over the x-axis. So again, this is my x-axis here. I'm going to flip G over it since G is above the line. When I flip it, it's going to be under the line. So I count how many spaces is G above the line. G is above the line 2 spaces. It's up here 2 spaces. So when I flip it, it's going to be 2 below the line. So my new location for G is going to be here. This is going to be G prime. Okay? Do not forget that in some of these problems, they're going to ask you to give the ordered pair. For the pre-image G, you have to have an X coordinate and a Y coordinate. I start at the origin and I go to the left 1 time to get to G. So this is going to be a -1 for my X coordinate. I go up 2 to get to G. So my Y is going to be a +2. So this is going to be my ordered pair for G. For G prime, where G has moved to, I start at the origin. I still go to the left 1 time. So this is -1 for my X coordinate. But to get to G prime, I go down 2. So my Y coordinate is going to be a -2. Okay. I notice that when I flip G over the x-axis that my Y changes. So when I flip G over the y-axis, my x's are going to change. Okay. In the next section, they're going to give you figure A, figure B. Your figure A is going to be where the object started. Your figure B, obviously, is going to be where the object landed. And you have to figure out what transformation was used to get from A to B. Okay? So these are the options here. It says reflect over the y-axis. The y-axis is here. So that means they would have taken A and flip it over this y-axis. That means it would have been on this side. If you flip it over, it would have been here. And B is not over here. So it's not our reflection over the y-axis. Reflection over the x-axis. This is the x-axis here. So that means I will take this object and flip it. And it does look as though it is flipped. It's upside down here. Okay, so this does look like a reflection. So this is a possible answer here. This is a possible answer. Then it says counterclockwise, which means I'm rotating. Counterclockwise is the opposite of the hands on the clock. The hands on the clock moves towards the right. So counterclockwise would means I would turn my picture to the left. Okay, so look at where A is here. If I was to move it counterclockwise 90 degrees, that's 1 turn. So that would mean that the object would look like this when I move it. And B does not look like that when I do a counterclockwise. Okay? So counterclockwise is not the answer here because it's not turned sideways, and it's not the answer for this one either. Counterclockwise rotation 270 is 3 turns. Remember, 90 is 1 turn. 180 is 2 turns. The object is just upside down. 270 is 3 turns. And of course, 360 looks like it didn't move at all. That's 4 turns. It's right back where it started from. Okay. So our best answer here is that it flipped over the x-axis. In this object, or in this problem, it says figure S. So this top figure right here is figure S, is the result of the transformation on R. So if this is the result, that means that it started with R. So R is going to be the pre-image, and S is going to be the image because it's the result. It's after the move. Okay? It says which transformation would accomplish this. So we're going from here to here. Okay? All right, so let's look at our answer choices. All right. So it says rotate, that means to turn 90 degrees. So that's 1 turn to the right. Okay, so I'm starting here and I'm going to do a 1 turn to the right. So I'm look at where I have to go to. If I turn 1 time to the right, I pick my picture up and I'm going to physically turn it 1 time to the right. That's turning it this way. That means my new location should be right here in this quadrant down here. And S is in the first quadrant, not this quadrant over here. So this is not going to be a rotation that way. Okay? Rotate counterclockwise is to the left. So that's 1 time to the left. So I'm going to pick this object up or pick my coordinate plane up and turn it 1 time to the left. So that's this way. So look, it is in this quadrant right here. Notice the shape of it. Okay, so let's see if it looks like this. And it absolutely does look like this. So this is the best answer here. It's not a translation. It's not just sliding because it looks like it turned. It's not in the same direction. So it's definitely not a translation because the object has turned. Okay, so these are not good answers as well. So the best answer is going to be rotation. Okay. All right. Determine the series of transformations. So they didn't give me any answer choices there. In order to determine, you have to decide which one is the pre-image and which one is the image. And it's telling you to press try. So what you do here, and I should have copied the choices that was there. I didn't do that. What you have to do here is first identify which one is your image and which one's your pre-image. So here it's saying that would map figure M onto N. So M is your pre-image. So this one down here is your pre-image because it's going from figure M to figure N. So this is your image. So then what they want you to do, which is hard to do without the answer choices on paper, so I'm going to explain this the best way that I can. What they want you to do is they want you to choose 2 transformations that this could possibly be, and then press try to see if the 2 transformations that you chose is going to make it fit on top of this. Okay? So that's what you have to do there. They're going to give you 2 drop down bars, and you choose 2 transformations that you think this might be. Press try to see if it actually moves it on top. And if it does, then you choose that as the answer and you move on. Okay? The last section looks like this. This is where you determine, again, it's like the previous one, you're going to determine what 2 transformations were used to get from figure J to K. So J is going to be the pre-image before the move. And K is going to be the image after. It's going to be after the move. Okay. So if you notice, look at this. You notice a couple things. A couple things that you could do here is, and you have to view the answer choices. If you were to actually flip this, because notice how this long part is up here, but then the long part is down here. So some type of either flipping or some type of rotating had to take place in order to get these two to be on opposite ends. So if I were to flip this over here, if I was to flip it, and that's what you would do, flip it. This is up. This is 4 units. It's -4. 4 units up, so this would be 4 units down. So 4 units down is actually down here. Okay? And so that would be this one. That would be this one. And then this would be 1 unit. This is 1 unit. Okay? My drawing is not as good as it needs to be, Lord. Alright? And so if I flipped it this way, notice how I would still have to probably either flip it again. Okay, so you just kind of play with these options down here to see which one is going to make this actually fit on top of this. So you have to play with these options on your computer to see what would be the best option there. Okay. All right. If you have more questions, please text me and let me know that you have more questions. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day.